Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my review of Process of Elimination. But we're going to do spoilers. I am your host, Twisted Games, and you can see from the last time I had hear me talk, I have a new microphone, so I hope everything is better. So I do hope that everything's clear. Again, the music in the background is represented by Glitch Seed, so if you guys like her stuff, go ahead and check her out. So spoilers on this game, right? Like I said, we're talking about this, and this is a story-based game. So if you're a person who really interested in this game, um, don't watch this video. Telling you right now, this is spoilers. Don't watch it if you don't want to be spoiled any plot of this game. Now, I have not touched or played this game since I last beat it, which is like early May. So when I start uploading every day. And so I'm gonna keep the same style what I did last time. I would put in like my old footage and just put it over, but unfortunately though, um, my old footage I deleted off my computer. So there's that. But if you guys do enjoy this video, give it a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this today. Now, where do we begin with the story? Because what we're gonna do is sort of like simplify things. Because it has more characters and everything else that's very important to the game. The one thing I do want to annotate on my review was two major things I forgot to mention on it. I don't remember one major thing, which I should have typed both of them down, but I didn't. The point where you're controlling the game, like you're doing the investigation part, you can't rotate the map, which is very unfortunate. So if you're one of those people who like, oh well, I need like flip the map over, twist aside so I can see where I'm going. King doesn't only do that, and hopefully they do make a second game of this. We do have it, we have that point in the game to have another, like, be able to rotate map to map. But now we're going with this game, and with this. So let's talk about who the antagonist is. The whole like the quartering duke, which is ended up being Doleful. Now, the reason why Doleful claims that I think he would think it's a girl, but it's not. It's a guy. Doleful claims to kill because of them coming to him for salvation and escaping their problems in real life. And so he does not take any responsibility because how it's worked is both people that die, like it end up resolving that both of them like shoot each other, like they both kill each other. Like one is implicating the other, and so Doleful's thing is using his whole manipulation of you can't pin this on me, and then the rest of the gang, Watto, Posh, Armor, and Gourmet. Am I missing one? I'm looking at the list because I actually did write this down. Because the last people were your main character, Posh, Gourmet, Doleful, Techie's alive, Bookworm, Armor. That's at 7, and then Doleful is the villain in the game. And one thing about the ending, which I did not like, and I wish they expanded on, this is what kind of might made it feel like a Danganronpa game in a way, which the ending. The ending of the game is they're flying off in the sunset, and they're trying to figure out how are we going to team up and get Doleful convicted. And that's it. There's no resolution, so that makes me believe there's going to be a second game. I don't know what the sales number is. I haven't looked at it. This game been out for what, a couple months? I want to say April I think April, yeah, early April. So I think almost 2 months. But if I were to like I said, like if you're, like I said, this game is $40, so there's some leeway with the ending. But let's just say that you make this game, like you play this game and then you really like it, and like maybe there's never gonna be a sequel to it. Well, you kind of screwed it up, right? So that part is a negative. But let's talk about these characters, right? These 16 characters that you meet, and you're Watto, the incompetent, the one guy. I don't know. My thing is with Watto is, I think you're supposed to like him, which is fine. But I just think Watto, in a way, I mean, he is a likable character. He really is. Um, but unfortunately, with his character is he's handheld by Psycho for like 95% of the game, which makes sense. Like the first half, like if you're going to compare this to the first half of the game, um, I was like, if you go with the prologue, first chapter, second chapter, like Watto needs to get a handhold because he's never been able to be, he never was a detective. So if you're a person that wants to like figure things out for yourself with Watto, well, unfortunately, you are pretty wrong on that note. He's a newbie, right? He's shy at first, and then more time, he develops confidence. Um, and his like main motivation is like pleasing Ideal, aka Psycho. Um, because Watto's backstory is that he believes that he failed to save Psycho 10 years ago. And he always sees his dreams that she always dies in front of him. And when they meet up in the prologue, not prologue, the the what's the word I'm looking for? Before the first chapter, yeah, like the pre stuff, right? The pre story of the game. When she tells him, like, yeah, I was like, you saved me, and he's so confused. And what really happened in the story, like, I know we're jumping to basically what happened, well, it gets revealed in the fifth or sixth chapter, that Watto is actually the one that actually gave up his life to save Saika, and he actually almost dies. Like, Watto actually almost dies. He was supposed to be the ideal detective, and that secret police, when they were hoarding all the talents, is like, ooh, who's going to be the person, right? So Watto is actually the guy that's what the ideal was, number one ideal, but Psycho's like, no, you know what? Heal him up. I'll be the ideal detective from now on. And that's pretty much how it goes. Like Watto's like memory's all messed up. She always says and she knows what's going on. And Watto like his ability, like he gets her ability, but he already always had her ability, but he never was able to like really do it until Psycho died. And that's the unfortunate part. Like, it's really unfortunate because, like, for character development, he needs to get that character development up. But that's just how the game goes. Like, Watto is just a person that is learning on the fly, trying to solve who's his quartering Duke, and he's trying to do things on his own. Not on his own because like Psycho, it's like the one person is like helping him, like I said, because she's a ghost. So, like, it's interesting. Like a lot of these spoilers, I want to say is you need to complete these residual thoughts, right? If you get like an S at the end of each chapter, which is like after the investigation phase, like you're talking about like accusing who did it, you get S on that. You will then, on the next level, you'll get a residual thought. Also, when you beat the game, you get another set of residual thought at the investigation phase of each chapter, which is very important because what residual thought does, it reveals their memories, It also revealed their name and age and another like purpose as to why they're there, right? So, like, for instance, what goes Psycho, the ideal detective. Now, so in the main story of the game, like, she's Psycho Holmes. You know her because you thought that she's dead. You thought she originally died years ago, like a decade ago, but she's really not. And then she dies in front of you when you finally meet up with her. And then she's a ghost. She teaches everything. She shows you how to do the special ability. So, what reality is, Psycho's not her real, like, Psycho Holmes is not her real last name. Like, in residual thought, she's actually related to Armor Detective. Because she's, like, got, like, really sick, whatever. And they wanted, and the family wanted to throw her away, so they threw Psycho away, and they sent her to the secret police. And that's why, like, her last name got changed to Holmes. I don't know why it got changed to Holmes like that, but it did. She just, so basically, like she's related to Armor. That's why, like, later on in the game, Veteran chapter 6, when he's trying to, like, when your character sees, like, why does he know her name, blah blah. Why is it very important for Armor to bury Psycho? That's the reason why, because Armor is related to Psycho. Armor is the older brother of Psycho. So, as a result, thoughts, like, reveals a lot about their character. Like, Psycho is just like, she's definitely not, because she's like the same age as Watto, and she still has a kid in herself. Throughout the time, she teases Watto a lot. She actually goes, like, perverted a few times. Like, she wants your character. There's a scene in the game where you're protecting the door, and Gourmet, not Downtown, Bookworm, and Posh, they are taking a shower, and you're defending the door in case someone walks in. And Psycho's like, hey, you use the Nomad to look in there and see what they're doing. And you're just like, where is this coming from? I get, like, Watto's supposed to be, like, growing up and supposed to seek, like, female companionship, but he's, like, what, 17? One is 11 years old. And as a person who's a little bit, I'm 30, and that's just weird to me that there's almost a scene where we see, like, a 11-year-old in a towel. I know it's like a video game form, whatever, but I don't know. That's really a thing where that should be in the game. And, like, earlier in the game too, when you actually meet Psycho in ghost form, she's like, "Oh, I can see above me, and above you is, like, the shower, and I think it's a shower. Yeah, it's like a shower or something." And she's like, "Oh, you should peek in the shower," and like, blah blah. And it's like, no, like, she has a perverse side, but I think she does that because she likes Watto, and she can't be with him, of course, because she's dead. So, that part is important. On that note, the relationship, like, he likes her, she likes him, but he can't do anything because she's dead. So that's basically Psycho in a nutshell. Like, she's just, like, she's cheery, and also, like, she has a thing where she, like, disappears from him every time and time. And the plot point is, like, she wants Watto to figure things out. So if there's, like, certain points that she wants Watto to figure out, like, she steps away and lets Watto figure it out. So that's such a good point for the game. Next character we're going to talk about is Renegade, the murderer of the group. I think if I was to rank characters, I think Renegade, it would be my least favorite character in the whole universe. Um, I get his point of life. He dears life for everything, but there are times that he single-handedly almost he resulted in two people, one person dying and another person almost dying. Actually, and then another person dying. So it actually resulted in two people dying and one person not dying. They're almost dead. So like he's a math manipulator and he's like really untrustworthy. There are times you have to trust him. I bet in chapter 4, you have to trust him because like Renegade, who's also part of that special police like uh group of kids who actually was able to escape. And at one point, workaholic, we'll talk about later, thought that he was the um invincible detective. I believe it's called Invincible. I think it's called Invincible. Um, because like he basically never died. Like the person like has super strength, whatever. And because with a point where Workaholic tries to kill him but couldn't, and results in someone dying. So like Renegade at one point knows like what your ability is, and because of that, he basically tries to kill you the whole game. From chapter 3 on, that he tries to kill you, and during in the investigation phase, to the point that like if he attacks you, you die. Like if he has a certain radius, so he just goes after go towards Watto, and like if you don't if he kill like he will kill you. Like if you're like in like near him, like one space by him, he will kill you, and then that investigation part ends, and you have to restart over, which is pretty funny. That he actually at one point tries to actually twice in the game tries to kill you. So that's an interesting part on Renegade. Like I said, I think he's my least favorite. Like he killed two people, and the fact that he's like insane, crazy. I don't know, like, that type of character. I see where they're going. I see where they're going for with him. But he's a character I don't really care about. He's like my least favorite. Now the next person I want to talk about. Let's talk about Posh. Now, for a majority of the game, she was like most hated person in this game, and then at the end of the game, she actually did something important. I'm like, okay, she mounts ahead of Renegade. Because like Posh's like whole thing is she's part of the Pinkerton family, and she wants to restore order to the name of the Pinkerton family. So which is why like she has a thing where she tries to be upright citizen, and then people point out to her like that's not really upright citizen. It's like normal person / poor people do. You know, she has her thing is she has like an eye that catches like that catches. I forgot what it is, but she catches certain things. Um, that's like not normal. So she can like, and then she has this like thing like a Pigton family takedown. So she just like does this thing, which is only very important for again when she fight takes down Doleful at the very end of the game. The only time it's very important. Um, she tries to be a leader after Ideal dies, and a lot of the time she fails a lot. Um, she goes headstrong. She doesn't. Sometimes she thinks. Sometimes she really doesn't. Um, she wants everyone to be like her, but when Watto takes control, she's like, okay, I'll like. Sometimes she knows when to step down, when not to. Like I said, when she takes down Doleful at the end, that's the reason why she's above Renegade, because she's kind of annoying to me as a character. Like one of those uptight characters, but she's fine. Like all grand station things, I like her better in Renegade. Now we're talking about um next person, Mystic. Now this guy is a very interesting character. Unfortunately, he dies in chapter 2, which is very, very sad for Mr. Mystic. How he dies, or is it chapter 1? No, it's chapter 2 because I believe how chapter 1 ends is Ideal dies. I want if I'm right on that. I want to say Ideal dies in chapter 1. Chapter 2 is when Mystic actually dies. So he's one of the characters that actually dies. I do want to say too, Renegade also dies in chapter 5. He actually dies in chapter 5. So it's very important on that note as well that who dies, who doesn't. But the yeah, okay. Yeah, Mystic dies in chapter 2. I just looked at my playlist and he dies chapter 2. Um, but he first figures out that you are able to talk to Ideal because overheard you talking like what is basically what a normal person would say by yourself. Um, but one of the main things is he figures out he's smart outsmarts Watto and also Watto's a crap, so Watto tells everything to him. He believes you a lot of the time, you know. He just simply doesn't believe you. And that's a good thing because um without that point, um like he's like kind of one of the first people I can trust in the game, and then they screw him because he gets killed. And he actually helps you because he actually figures out the way is how chapter 2 is that you actually go and your character claims chapter 2 is like, hey man, you know there's actually a secret tunnel out here. I was like, what? There's a secret tunnel out here? And it works for days. And Mystic figures out how the trapdoor works. And unfortunately for him, like that's the reason why he dies. Like I said, he's a very cool character. You learn that he just he adopted Bookworm because he investigated a case where Bookworm's parents died. So you learn that him and Bookworm are he's actually like the um he's the adopted father of Bookworm, which shows like him like humanity wise, like he shows like that's really good for humanity. So like he's a grade A character. I think I was like really sad when he died. I'm like, no, not him. Oh, we got to know him, man. You know, he always looks out for like he for what we've seen. He was a good father, and you know he's one of the characters I wish he that stayed a little bit longer. But when we talk about Bookworm, um, we'll know what happened with Bookworm, like why like the how it increases her character development. Um, the next person is Gourmet, one of the survivors in the game. Gourmet is like a weird character. Like her thing is about senses. She has distinct smell. She cooks. Um, and then she has this thing right where she goes and she's like revealed to herself that she was part of the secret police like years and years ago. Like so she kind of like knew about workaholic, and then again she's like, oh yeah, the FBI. Yeah, I work for the FBI. I am FBI. You're like, what? That was out right field. Like we had an FBI within our group this whole time, you know. Um, she had like a sisterly sibling with Rowdy because or Rowdy's like backstory we'll learn later. um why like Rowdy and Gourmet's intertwined, but like Gourmet always had a thing where she had to protect Rowdy at all time, and then when something happens with Rowdy, and she goes really sad on that. So it's a really for character development wise, like she just really have a character development. Walter like keeps her in check a lot of times, which is like important because like there's times that, like in chapter 6, like she knocks everyone out and everyone has a bomb collar on her, and she's like, I'm willing to kill myself to find who the Quarian Duke is, and Watto sees something and uses denouement into the future. When she does it, Doleful like survives. Like she dies, Doleful survives, and you're just like your character keeps her in check and make sure that she keeps insane, like keep away from insanity and keep her sane. So, Gourmet's a character like she's definitely like the mother character inside the game. That's the best way to describe her. She's the mom. Now, what is called the dad of the group? Well, Mystic could be the dad of the group. We have the workaholic. Now, workaholic, right? We're talking about him. He basically like, the regular 9 to 5 character job, and he like takes care of people, but all of those are under my book. Now, backstory with him is that he was your police a decade ago too. He was under a diabolic detective, which he was responsible for kidnapping the kids to secret police, and they were up for testing. And so that's a very important part for Mr. Workaholic here, because he goes in the same rampage. He's responsible for someone dying, and he's trying to chase Renegade because he thinks Renegade is his invincible detective. So, because chapter 4, chapter 5, you're still looking for him. You're on side of him. You're trying to find him, and he wants you to kill him. Kill Renegade as quickly as possible because he thinks Renegade's gonna kill more people. And that's just like, so that's the whole point of the second half of the game, is he's gone crazy and he wants to kill Renegade. He actually takes his own life away at one point to basically help kill Renegade. Because as part of the game in chapter 5, chapter 6, you learn that Renegade has like that. When I was talking about like the necklace thing, that there's 2 conditions that need to be filled in terms of like eventually explaining and killing him. The first one would be chapter 3. I forgot the term they use in the game. There's like there's certain 3 people that have the X ability to like set it off, and then he just dies. Which you learn that your character, Workaholic and Gourmet, because Gourmet is part of the original like such place and everything, that they all 3 have the ability to like basically kill him. And the second way was to like within 10 feet, when one of them dies, the thing goes off. Like electrical current like kills him, and like it's a specific thing. And that's when Renegade dies. And that's how Renegade dies. Warhawk basically kills himself, and then Renegade tries to leave from the elevator to like the main floor area. He dies at that time too. So interesting part on Workaholic is that like he's smart. He's a very smart character. But he goes insane at the end of it. Next one, Doleful, the main antagonist of the game, according to Duke. Now, the reason why he's the way he is because he cannot, whatever he does, he cannot die. Whatever happens around him, people get hurt, he does not die. And that's the whole point. Like, he just, and there's a point in the game in chapter 4 when you're in the investigation phase, um, Doleful can run into one of the invisible SPXs and detect them, and then it's weird because he can do that out left field, and you're just like, okay, why is that? Because he just cannot die. Whether you do, he cannot die. That's the whole plot line, and he wants to create salvation for everyone that wants to wants to commit suicide, and so he sets up the scenes where people die, and you'll learn later on he had two other helpers inside this group of detectives that actually were helpers of him getting these victims. I when when I first played the game, I was shocked at first, and the more I think about it, I'm like, okay, you know what? It kind of makes sense in a way. Um, it's weird because every character that has revealed something has like a different personality. Like, oh, I've been this the whole time, you know. And with Doleful, like he's a weak character, Jigsaw's manipulated character, and he tries his hardest to say, "You guys can't do this to me." Well, when Walter does his thing and commits them, arrests Doleful, and Doleful gets taken to the DA, gets taken away by DA along with them, and like I said, again, it's a lackluster ending, a cliffhanger ending. Next person I want to talk about is gonna be Techie. Now, this guy, he's in a wheelchair. He basically does everything. He's very helpful in investigations, but he creates different things. Like he creates one that poison, like he sucks poison away from you. He detects things. He made one into like a stun gun. It's very important for him, and he can't really do anything because he's paralyzed basically from the leg down. He has a disability where he has no strength in his legs. And Renegade attacks Techie a lot in this game. Basically saying that Techie doesn't do anything except for have others do things for him. Like he has like Renegade wants to give Techie a victim complex in a way. And that's how his character development, like he tries to break away from that victim complex, and and your character's like, hey man, don't worry about it. We're gonna blame you. You do a lot for us, and he does do like a lot. Like a lot of these investigations that you do, um, they don't get solved without Techie because there's like he ends with 5. There's like a lot of evidence that ends with 5. So he is very important to the investigation crew. And like I said, like he's a very likable character too. Deck is Bookworm. Like I said earlier with Mystic, she is the adopted daughter of Mystic, and her like special ability, like each people with special ability, Bookworm's special ability is like it drains her a lot, but her vision is like perfect. Like she knows where everything is at all time, and it, and it's very important because she solves it in the second, in the second case when Mystic dies. She solved it because she has a perfect vision. So she can replicate everything in her head, but it drains a lot out of her. So there's a drawback to it. As I said earlier, both her parents died way earlier when she was a kid. Mystic solved the case, and then he takes her in. So is very important on Bookworm. When Mystic dies, Bookworm has a character development where she always keeps things to herself, and from chapter 3 on, she actually expresses herself more. Yeah, she makes fun of Posh a lot, which is actually pretty funny. Like her dialogue when she makes fun of Posh is actually pretty nice. And she always texts your character for being like a sexual deviant, which is actually pretty funny too. Because like, what? You know, your character's like, I don't think about women. And your character is like, you don't think about women at all. Um, and then we have more people. Wow, a lot more people than I thought. Downtown, she actually is one of the killers. She's a killer in the second case to Mystic, and she's also is responsible for assisting Quartering Duke with all the like getting the victims to the Quartering Duke. Like she uses social skills to in order to like solve the cases, but like what she's doing, and it's revealed in chapter 6, is that Downtown was supposed to die like at the very beginning of the game. What was supposed to happen is her and her character was supposed to die, but since your character who walks into the door dodges the chandelier coming down, she does not die. She's supposed to die. She doesn't die. Your character off the trap, and actually makes a lot of things worse for Corin Duke because it's like, well, she was supposed to die. Like, what's going on? Um, like I said, she has another weird complex thing where like she didn't feel anything inside her, and once her best friend died, that's when she has like revelation. Like, yes, like I had ecstasy of killing people. Like she's really responsible for like in the prisoner facility in the very beginning of the game. She says that she's responsible for killing all 20 people. Um, with the poison. She takes full 100% credit with it, and she it has complex, and then she actually does kill herself because when she kills Mystic with poison in her finger, she has like a vial poison, and she pressed it in the room, and she died, and she basically suffocates herself with poison, and she dies. She's one of the like favorite characters in the game, like very onset when she dies. Um, which sucks that she's a villain in the game. Like she actually does help you. She's like very beginning of the game, like in real person, all of a sudden psycho. Like she's one of the first people that actually help you out. She gives you the incompetent name, but she does actually legitimately does help you out a lot in the first and second chapter before she reveals herself as a killer. So it's sad about Downtown. She's a really good character. I liked her. I wish she wanted more to like depict her, but I think she's a really good character. Armor, he's like number one. This dude's number one, best character in the game. This dude, um, would do anything for you. He's like a loyal dog in a way. Like this dude took so much for him. He took so much damage. He actually almost dies in chapter 4. Like he has a SPX like really stabbed him through the heart, and he falls in the hole with that red SPX. But some weird thing like mystical well on the bottom like healed him up. Like I said earlier with Psycho, like he is like the brother of Psycho. So, but he always wants to protect like the group. That's number one thing. Like he's not smart in the brain, and when you do play this game, like you see everyone's numbers other than your character number 100 on the all detective rank because you're new. Armor is number 31, which is like the only detective out of everyone inside the group that's over 30, which is like NCY that everyone inside this group has some type of connection to what happened um with according to against special police. So it's a very important part of special police. Armor, comedy relief. He's really he's really funny. He's really cool. I think he really is a number one guy inside this game. You know, in terms of like characters, because when he like has his fake death in chapter 4, like he tears your heart. Like no, not not Armor. Armor can't die, but he doesn't really die. Like, yes, he doesn't die. Um, after Armor, we have Rowdy. Now, Rowdy is a character. She's also like Armor, who's not really smart, but her combat is really good in the game. Like, she takes down her main thing is combat and everything else, and her sense of smell. It's also like key thing what she has. She actually dies in chapter 3, and probably the worst chapter in the game. Workaholic tries to kill Renegade. Renegade senses that Workaholic wants to kill him. He asks Doleful. Doleful was unsure. Rowdy says yes, and that Rowdy gets killed by Workaholic. Like I said, with the sisterly thing with Gourmet, it's very important because she always talks about, I gotta be stronger than this person. I gotta be like her. I gotta be like this person. I gotta be like this detective. So I join. I want to be this detective. And you realize that through the residual thoughts, that person is actually Gourmet. Like, she with this Gourmet beat everyone up, and basically Riley's like, I want to be just like her. One of these days, I'm gonna be just like Gourmet. And unfortunately, she dies out before anything else. It's a horrid way that it affects Gourmet. It affects you too. It affects me because it's like what I think I like her the third or fourth best character out of the group. I think she's a great character, and unfortunately, I wish she didn't die. You know. So, her character, it's very important for her to die. It's important for her to die because of what happens in Gourmet. And the last person we're going to talk about is Senior Detective, the guy who actually recruits you to the Detective Alliance. Very first scene, he actually dies in the very first thing, he actually dies. What actually also revealed that he also was working with Courtney Duke. He also was in the reason why the 20 researchers died in the laboratory where Posh killed, because if you look at the ideal Brazil thought, she realizes too that how come Senior Tech didn't do anything? Why is Senior Tech not dead too? So he was actually supposed to die. He actually dies in why I said very die. He's when I talk about not Posh, Downtown earlier, he was supposed to die with Downtown at the same time, but he didn't do it, which is very unfortunate. Inside the game, it's important that he's one of the most important characters in the game, I want to say, because his character is the one character that actually built these houses. So this main mansion you're in, he built that. The laboratory, he built that. The underground part of the jail, he built that. So he was responsible for a lot of what was the construction of how everything goes on Morgue Island. So that's why he's very important. You don't really know more about him because he died so quickly, but he's there's a case where he had to retire because he messed up, and that's why he's not a detective anymore, because he was forcibly retired. And that's basically for the character part. I guess in terms of the chapters and everything else, the story, like I said, the story is basically trying to find Courtney Duke, your main character, thinking Psycho's dead, and then when she really is dead, you realize that he's the ideal detective, and he was the one who actually was technically dead at one point, but they resuscitated him and come alive. Doble's the antagonist, and you look at mixed twists and turns. Like chapter 2, Mystic dies, and with Downtown killing him, and Downtown commits suicide. And the third chapter, and I hate the investigation stage in the third chapter. Not the real investigation phase, but I hate after it, because I never got in my head like how does one person had this much time and opportunity in the dark and able to kill someone weird. In which Workaholic was supposed to kill Renegade, but asked Doleful, and then Doleful, and then Rowdy took over and Rowdy dies because of Workaholic's madness of trying to kill um Renegade. Chapter 4, we have um Renegade arm gets chopped off, which is like a key point and reason why his arm gets chopped off because trying to escape out of like the dungeon area, the cells. Trying there a lot of ciphers. So chapter 4 is incredibly long because there's so many puzzles the game tries to have you do. Um, and armor almost armor fake dies and try to figure out who set them up. And it was Renegade because SPX likes blood, and because of the blood, because of his cut arm, he put the blood on Techie's wheelchair, and one time he hit the wall, which allows the SPX to like identify them, which is really stupid. Because Renegade again is an asshole about it. He really is. Chapter 5, you go actually in a different area of the laboratory, and Renegade wants to kill you. So you kidnap Posh at one point, and he wants to kill you, and he didn't realize that you have these own ability. And then I believe he has it too, but none of them want to reveal it. But then Workaholic committed suicide, and because he committed suicide right in front of Renegade, Renegade also dies. And then lastly, chapter 6, when actually chapter 6 I like because they re-investigated everything from each of the areas, which is really cool to me. They re-investigate everything, and then figure out that Doleful was according to Duke, and you and the group and the survivors that was there, they all survive, and then they get to go home. What happens to Doleful and what happened to the rest of the group, we don't know because the game didn't say. But that's basically it with the story. I mean, if we go by chapter, it's longer story. I think more like character breakdown analysis of each person more, because I just gave you what happened in each chapter, what's the main thing, who killed who, and educates like that. But it is I do recommend everyone to check this game out. I believe it is I do like the game. So there's a few things like with it, but you can definitely do the enjoyment out of this game. You do have it. So I will say, I should probably move this. There you go. I will say that thank you to everyone who decided to watch this video. I know it's long and stuff like that, but I want to make this a little bit on the longer side. We're going to talk about it is a more character based spoilers, the way I think about them and everything else. Parts of the story I think are quite good with the twists and turns with it. So you never have like the ability to like stay on your feet, stuff like that. So I do wish, like I said, thank you to everyone who decided to watch. I hope you guys do enjoy this new microphone quality I do have. I do hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.